Hi there, Nicole here from Startup Fashion, and in this video I want to talk about 7 ways to boost traffic to your online store. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you'll get notified when these videos launch and you won't miss anything. Okay, let's talk about driving traffic to your online store. So a big issue I see, something that happens all the time, is that designers launch a website where they're selling their product and they can't figure out why people aren't going to the website. They don't know how to drive people to the site. So we're going to talk about a few ways that you can do this, and a lot of it comes down to making sure that these efforts are consistent, that you've got a plan for making sure you're doing these things on a regular basis. Okay, let's get started. Number 1, use social media. I know, don't roll your eyes, I promise. What I want to say about using social media is this. Yes, it is a tool, a quote, free tool for reaching more people, which is important. But what I see happen often is that brands use social media for their business, but forget to actually drive people to their website with it. And that's where the difference is here. So when we're talking about using social media to boost traffic to your online store, what you want to make sure that you're doing is having calls to action that drive them there. Now, sometimes that call to action is driving them to a product to buy. Sometimes it's driving them to read a blog post. Sometimes it's driving them to get on an email list. Whatever it is, make sure that when you're posting on these platforms, on social media, that you're telling them what to do next. And that's what the difference is. Make sure that whatever the post is about, whatever you're talking about, you're tying it to a reason why they should go back to your website to do something, and then tell them to go back to your website to do that thing. And that's what I want you to remember with this. It rarely happens. It's so common that people are putting their website out there, getting on social media, talking on social media, but then not telling the people who are listening what to do next. And that's where the difference is. So using platforms like Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, depending on your business, what makes the most sense, put content on there, spend time thinking about that content, but also make sure at the end of that content, you're telling them what to do, right? Like that's what's important. And that's what will drive people to your website. So that's the first thing. Number 2, offer value in exchange for contact information. So email is a great way to drive people to your website, but you've got to get their email addresses, right? So these are people who will have been on your web or been to your website or on your website at some point, and you want to capture them so that you can get them to come back to your website. So often you'll see the, prompt to get on the email list for behind the scenes or sneak peeks or something like that. And that's fine, but I'm telling you right now, it's not strong enough. It's not powerful enough because it's vague language and it's language that gets used over and over again. So it's not going to do what you want it to do. So as much as you don't want to hear it, a discount is the one that seems to convert at the highest. If you don't want to offer a discount, what other things can you offer that bring value to this person, this customer or potential customer, so that they'll give you their email address, and then you can continue to email them with more value so that it drives them back to your website. So this depends on your business and your brand. If you have some kind of product that's travel related or is great for travel, you could come up with some kind of cool travel guide or some city guide or something like that. That's just one random example, but the point is, what value are you bringing? What do you know about this customer? Or if you don't have a lot of customers yet, what do you know about your ideal customer, this person you hope to serve? I once received an email from from a brand who, or I had gotten on their email because what they were offering was a guide to the best places in downtown Manhattan to grab a busy business lunch. And the reason that they had that is because they knew enough about who their customer is, professional women who live in major metropolitan cities, and even if they don't live in New York, probably visit New York. And that kind of hey, here's a quick guide to, I don't even remember how many there were. There may have been 5, there may have been 10, there may have been 30. I don't remember, but I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, because I often have business lunches or meetings with people that I know through business, and that's a really great thing to have. So what do you know about your customer, and what value can you give in exchange for an email if you're not willing or able to give a discount? So that's number 2. Number 3. Include your website link everywhere. I know that sounds obvious, but I do have to say it, because I spent some time the other day looking all over on a social media platform, a social media page profile. That's what I'm trying to say. A social media profile of a brand, because the link that they had in their bio went to a piece of press that they got months ago. So it didn't take me to their website. It took me somewhere else. It just became this like big annoying thing when I just wanted to go to their website to see what it was all about, to see what they had, all that stuff. So I just wound up kind of scrolling through their Instagram and never winding up on their website. So make sure that you are including the link to your website everywhere, on every piece of marketing that you put out there, whether it's something that's printed or whether it's digital. Make sure it's easy to get to and find. I'm not saying that it's wrong to share a piece of press, but I would either put that press on your website to drive people there to see it, or at least a link to it on a page on your website, or only have that for a short time and then go back to having it as your website, or have one of those link tree things where you can like have a variety of links. The point is, make it easy, because they lost me as a person visiting their website because I couldn't find their website. So while it may sound basic, make sure that everywhere that you're marketing, people can easily find out what your website is all about. Okay, number 4, drive your audience with helpful information. So having something like a blog on your website is really important. And I know that that gets also a lot of eye rolls, because people are like, I don't have time to blog. But here's the thing about blogging. It gives people a reason to come back to your site on a regular basis. If you're not putting newness on your website, then why would people come to it? So, because they're not going to be buying something every month, but they could certainly visit your website every month if you gave them something else to look at, something else to engage with, to learn from. You just need to make sure that it's helpful. So creating a blog that, again, you need to know who your customer is, or your ideal customer, but creating a blog that shares a lot of just helpful information can be really, really powerful in driving that traffic. So think about things like your customer's specific pain points. Think about things like the one-of-a-kind nature of some of your products. Think about things like trends that are happening in fashion that you want to talk about. Just think about helpful information that you can be putting on your website on a regular basis. And if it helps not to think of it as a blog, but instead is just this page on your website where you're like sharing cool thoughts, sharing musings, sharing whatever, think about it that way. Maybe it takes off some of the pressure, but you need to be sharing helpful information in order for them to want to come back to your website on a regular basis. And that's really important, because you don't want to just have people visit your website once in hopes that they're going to buy, because most likely they're not going to buy that first time. So what are you doing to get them to come back so that the third or the fourth time that they visit, they are going to buy? So number 5 is adopt a what's in it for them approach. So it's really easy as startup founders to forget that it's not all about us. And I mean that in the sense that you're launching something, you need to tell people about it, and that's important. But you always want to be thinking about what's in it for the potential customers, what's in it for your audience. So it's really important to engage them by asking them questions, learning about them and their needs and what they want, and really understanding how your product is a solution to that, how your product brings value to them in some way, as it associates with those pain points or those needs and those wants. So in the sales world, it's called WIFT, what's in it for them. And if you can keep that in mind when you are developing your social media posts, writing an email, putting together a blog post, whatever it is, creating a video, anything. If you can keep those pain points in mind, then the what's in it for them approach will become like second nature to you, because it suddenly becomes very clear that it's not about you, it's about them, right? And so that's a really important thing to do, to consistently be collecting this information, to consistently be paying attention and learning, and then infusing that into everything that you're creating so it drives them to your website. And by doing it, by keeping that in mind on like your social media platforms, that's how you reach new people on social media, by sharing stuff that, you know, keeps what's in it for them in mind. And then once you're sharing those posts, you have that call to action, like we talked about earlier, that drives them to the site. So it becomes a journey. You're thinking about the customer journey, and throughout that entire journey, you need to think about what's in it for them. Okay, number 6, consider paid advertising. I know that not everybody has the budget for this, and I'm not saying that it's something you have to do, but it can be something that you plan for, because ultimately, paid advertising on social media is how you're going to reach the people you want to reach. You've heard it, you know, organic is just harder and harder to do that. And I'm not saying that it's impossible, and I'm not saying that you can't reach people that care about what you're offering, but I am saying that over time, you're going to realize that you do need to implement some paid advertising if you really want to drive people, a lot of people, to your website. So consider it. Start researching. What will it cost? Can you do it yourself? What do you need to learn in order to do it yourself? When do you think you'll have the budget ready for something like that? And then lastly, do you need to hire someone? Hiring a consultant for your website. This could be a really powerful thing for you if you have a budget to have a session with a website expert who can tell you about what might need to change in order to get people to the site, to keep people coming back to your site. They may be able to talk to you about SEO. They may be able to talk to you about load time and other things that could be driving people to your site and then they're immediately leaving for some reason. So if you have the budget and you feel like this could be really beneficial to you, it may be the time to hire a consultant to help with that. Or it might be the time to hire a consultant to talk through your social media, that, you know, talking through your strategy, how you're driving people from it to your website. Again, this isn't something you have to do, but it's something to put on your radar for getting you to a point where traffic is really driving. You can only do so much on your own. You can do a lot and you will get to a certain point, but there will be a point where you start to need to hire help. And being aware that this is something that could help you with growing the traffic to your site is powerful and should be on your list of things to think about. Okay, so if you have any questions about any of this, leave them in the comments below. We can talk more there. And if you want more tips and advice for starting or growing your fashion business, head over to startupfashion.com. We have so much advice for you there for free, so why not? Head on over. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.